Hi, I'm Zain. I'm a GTM engineer with 5 plus years of experience doing outbound and inbound marketing. Today I'm going to talk about a very pressing topic, which is about setting up your domain and email infrastructure for success. Now, the first question comes in if you are starting out a business or you're starting out a cold outbound, that why should you not rely on your primary domain and why it's important to have a separate domain and email infrastructure. Let's deep dive into it. First step is you need to buy domains. Why we buy alternate domains when you already have a primary domain? For example, your business is called google.com. Or for example, over here, let's take zenthanveer.com as a primary domain. While you already have a primary domain, why should you go for an alternate one and not utilize your primary domain and create inboxes and send out the emails from there? Mainly, when you are setting up a cold outbound infrastructure, there are high chances that you might ruin the repute of your domain or email infrastructure if you are not good at it. And if you're not good at it, that means your primary domain is flagged or burned. Your emails are not going to go into the inbox. You're not going to receive or you're not going to send out any email from your primary inbox and domain, which is going to go into the inbox. They will always land into spam. So if you have a website, if you have company identity, and you have a .com domain, which is on your primary name, it will become useless because every time you send an email, it will land into the spam folder. To avoid your emails being landing to the spam folder, you create a separated or distributed domain and email infrastructure. By distributed domain infrastructure means you buy alternate domains which are somewhat similar to your primary domains but have something additional added to it. Give you an example. If your primary domain is zenthanveer.com, you buy alternate domain as zenthanveerhq.com, zenthanveer.net, .co, .info. This means your primary domain name is still relevant and something has been added into your domain which will look somewhat similar, and you can utilize these domains to set up your cold outbound infrastructure. You also have an option to redirect all these new domains to your primary domain. For example, if somebody lands on zenthanviewhq.com or .net or .co, once they visit the website, they will be redirected to your primary domain, which in this case is zenthanview.com. So even if you send an email to anyone, any recipient, and they want to go directly to your website from your domain name, which is as a cold outbound, they will still be redirected to your primary domain. So the relevance stays intact. The next step now comes down to how should you create mailboxes after you have purchased the domains. So the standard practice, or you can say the best practice, is to create 3 mailboxes per domain. If you have 2 domains, you buy 3 mailboxes each, which becomes 6 mailboxes. And every mailbox has a capability to send out 20 to 25 emails per day after they have been warmed up and you are using any email automation tool with it. I'll be talking more about warm up and email automation tools in my next video. In this, we'll be talking about more about mailboxes. Then you can have 3 variations per domain that you can create to send out the emails. The example of the variation is here. You can add first name, you can add first name dot first alphabet or second name. You can have first alphabet of first name and full second name after a dot. The example is right in front of you. Zen at zenthanveer.com, zen.e, z.tanveer. So you can have various variations can be created. And if you have 3 members that you want to utilize to send out the emails, John, Zen, or Ayan, let's say, so one of the email is going to be John at, other is going to be Ayan at, third one is going to be Zen at. But you can only keep 3 mailboxes per domain. That is as per the best practice. Logically, you can create more, but to keep your domain safe, we will play conservative approach over here. So our emails do not get flagged or our domains do not get burned and we land into the spam folder. We have to avoid that. So our email infrastructure remains intact and we keep getting replies and keep generating leads out of it. Now let's talk about how to distribute mailboxes. To give you more about this stage, first I will explain you more about how you get the domains. You buy the domains from different domain providers, Hostinger, GoDaddy, they are the famous ones. I will drop the link for domains in my description as well. And then you buy the mailboxes. And the decision for mailboxes comes into three segments. One is how to distribute your mailboxes. So over here, I have put this down after sending out millions of emails. I found out that this distribution works perfectly. You buy 50% mailboxes from Google, 25% from Microsoft, and 25% from SMTP. Google Workspace means you buy mailboxes directly from Google. Microsoft means you buy email boxes directly from Microsoft or Outlook. SMTP means you buy mailboxes from private mail service providers. When you're taking a decision about buying the mailboxes, you have two things, or you can say two methods you can buy mailboxes. If you're going for Google Mailbox, either you can buy it directly from Google or you can buy it directly from resellers of Google. Same is the case with Outlook inboxes. You can buy directly from Outlook or Microsoft, or you can buy from resellers. The difference between buying from resellers and buying from directly from the mail provider is that when you buy from Google directly, you have more control, but pricing is high. When you buy from resellers, your control is less, but the pricing is very easy and your configurations become easier. When you buy mailboxes and you connect with those email automation tools, which we will be talking about in the next videos, you have to do certain configurations like DKIM, SPF records, they need to be added. If you buy directly from Google or Outlook, you have to do all these things by yourself. If you buy from resellers take care of this by themselves and make all the configurations on their own. To buy SMTP, I will also drop down a link where you can buy mailboxes from SMTP. I will also drop down the link of resellers where you can buy mailboxes for Google and Outlook at a very cheap price. When you're buying SMTP, that means a private mailbox infrastructure that can also be created obtaining from resellers. In this case, you can only buy from resellers, not set up a direct private infrastructure. Otherwise, it's going to be very pricey for you. Once you have mailboxes and you already have domains, the next thing comes down to that you have to attach those mailboxes to email automation tools to set up your email marketing flows. If your emails are landing to spam, if your emails are landing into the inbox, how are you going to make sure to keep your health score in place, and how to be sure that how to know that your emails are getting flagged or they're landing into spam? How do you know that? For this, you have to conduct placement testing. Most automation tools have this feature now integrated in their tools, which you can utilize to see the health score of the domain and email infrastructure and see if the emails are landing into spam or inbox. The best practice is that if your health score is above 95%, you can keep those accounts running or keep utilizing those mailboxes to send out the emails. If your health score goes below 95%, you have to put that account on warm up and utilize alternate accounts to send out the emails until that 90% or 80% health score goes again above 95%. Sorry. I took a name of email warm up. What is email warm up? I will create a separate video for email warming up, but just to give you an idea about that, email warm up, every automation tool now has an email warm up feature in it. That means they send an email from one inbox to another, open the email, and reply back from that email account to the sender account, which automatically increases the reply rate, open rate, eventually the domain authentication and email repute of the sender. And that becomes recognized whenever you are sending an email. Google, Outlook, and SMTP sees that as an email coming from an authentic domain, and they do not filter it out as a spam, and the email healthily lands into the inbox folder of the recipient. That means the chance of you getting the leads become higher and you generating the revenue also become higher at the same time. So how soon or how often you should be conducting placement test? When you have a health score being monitored on the tool, you should do it once every day. Whenever you open your laptop and you are checking your campaign activity or your inbox, take a look on the health score of your domains. If any of the mailboxes is losing the health score, put it down to warm up, utilize any other mailbox. And at the same time, the tools have a placement test feature. You utilize that, it sends an email from your mail account to any other account on Google, on Outlook, on SMTP, and can give you the result of how many emails landed into inboxes of all these and how many landed into the spam. From there, you get an idea that your email infrastructure is healthy or not at this point of time. And if at any case your emails start to land into spam consistently, not just once, consistently, then that means your email inbox is flagged, your domain is burned. You need to let go of that domain and buy a new domain and set up new mailboxes and you start utilizing this. And just imagine if it happens with your primary domain, then you run out of your identity in that go. That is why I recommended you not to utilize your primary domain for cold outbound and set up a distributed and separate domain and email infrastructure to send out your outbound emails. So you remain healthy, you follow the best practices and start getting results out of it. If you have any questions or any comments or any suggestions, or if you have facing any challenges, please feel free to drop me a message in the comment section. I'll be happy to help. Thank you so much.